Limmy's World of Glasgow. Xander.
I bumped into my cousin Jamie. No seen him for about 20 years. Bumped into him in a gay club, which is funny because I don't like gay clubs, I'm never in them. It's my straight mates that drag us in. But I bumped into him and I said, "Jamie, long time no see." He was like, "Xander, what you doing in here?" I says, "What do you think?" He says, "Are you gay?" I says, "Oh, don't geese it." I says, "Are you gay?" He says, "Oh, come on." As we laugh about it, the two of us look as poofy as they come. He says, "Listen, we should go out and have a laugh one night, catch up on our old times and everything." I says, "Aye, a lot of water under the bridge, a big night of drinks and gossip." He says, "That sounds perfect, Xander," so we arranged to meet up. He gave us his address, and it's the same address he had about 15 years ago. I says, "You still staying with your dad? You still staying with Uncle George?" He says, "Aye." I says, "You big Wayne." He says, "Right, how about this Friday?" I says, "Alright, I'll head up there about 7, right, I'll get you up there." So Friday night comes and I heads up to Jamie's house. I get there and I say hello to my Uncle George and how's he doing and things like that. He split up from Auntie Margaret years ago, so it's just him and Jamie in the house. Jamie says, "Listen, you just stay down here in the living room, watch some telly, catch up with my dad, right? I'm going upstairs to fix my hair, you know what I'm like." I says, "Some things never change, yeah, I'll see you in a bit." So he heads upstairs and I'm left there watching the telly with Uncle George. He's reading a paper, no saying much. He's always been like that, he's not much of a talker, you know, it's probably why my Auntie Margaret left him. Anyway, he had won a lottery or something like that and I wasn't interested. And he was reading his paper, so I says, "Uncle George, do you mind if I switch the telly here?" He says, "No, on you go, I'm not watching it, son." He says, "You'll have to go up and switch it to yourself, the batteries have ran out in the remote control." I says, "No bother, a bit of exercise never hurt anybody." No a peep at him, never even gave us a smile. I got up, I walked here to the telly. I bent here to press the buttons to switch the channel there. I look a wee bit to the left and I catch my Uncle George's reflection in the window. You know, 'cause it's dark outside, it's light inside, it's like a mirror. I catch him lowering his paper, dead slowly, dead sneakily, and looking at me. He never saw me looking at him in the reflection. And it was that sneaky way that he wasn't just seeing what I was switching there, do you know what I mean? He was taking a wee sneaky look. I bent air just a wee bit more. Really tight denims I had on, Friday night after all. I keep looking at him in the reflection in the window. And there's me deliberately taking my time, just flicking there all his channels, no interested what's on. I looked in the reflection, and my Uncle George just had a wee tug at his bulge. You know, just kind of fixing himself, as if he's suddenly grown a wee bit uncomfortable down there. I thought, bingo. I said, "Uncle George." I turned around, he whipped his paper back up. I says, "Uncle George." He's like, "Aye son," lowered his paper again. I says, "Do you want your eyes back?" He said, "What?" I said, "Enjoying the view?" Started getting a bit flustered. He says, "Oh, what are you talking about?" I says, "Uncle George, don't get angry, it's alright." I walked out to him, dead slowly. I said, "Now if I know Jamie, he's going to be spending the next half hour making his hair look like he's just stepped out of bed. Do you want a blowjob, Uncle George?" Silence off him. He didn't know where to look. But he didn't boot me in the balls either. That's always a good sign. I says, "Look, all you need to do, Uncle George, is turn to page 3, keep your eyes on the lady, and fuck my expert mouth." I got down on my knees, and the next 10 minutes just flew by. I don't think my Uncle George has had it for quite some time, so he had a wee bit of an accident and spunked on my shoulder. I thought, oh for fuck's sake, I've got to go out looking like this. I just rubbed it in dead quickly, left him sitting there with a semi. I hear Jamie shouting, "There's the taxi," and then he starts bolting down the stairs. I thought, oh for fuck's sake, no time to go to the toilet to wash this off. And my Uncle George never had any time to pull his trousers up, he just had to cover himself with a newspaper. Jamie darted into the living room, he's like, "Right, come on, let's go, right, that's me away, Dad." I was like, "Alright, let's go, see you later, Uncle George." My Uncle George just looking straight ahead at the telly. Out we went to the taxi. Got in the taxi. Within about 30 seconds, The whole taxi was humming in my Uncle George's spunk. Jamie's neck just turned round pure slow like an owl. He says, "You didn't, did you?" I says, "I did." He says, "You dirty bastard."